Okay, today I'm going to present to you possibly the most audacious lie of the Donald Trump presidency. And you might hear that and say, hold on a second, David, that sounds very hyperbolic. I know that with a guy who lies this much, how can I really say this one lie is the most daring and fearless and presumptive? Well, it is. Donald Trump gave this gong show press conference in the Rose Garden on Friday. And yesterday, I played a 3-minute clip of him not answering a very straightforward question about Mexico paying for the U.S. Mexico border wall when he was confronted by CNN reporter Caitlin Collins. I've now had more of an opportunity to review the full insanity of this press conference. And one of the other claims that Donald Trump made during the speech is that some other former presidents plural, you'll note, told Trump that they wish they had built the border wall when they were presidents and that they support Trump doing it. Okay, take a look at this moment in Donald Trump's press conference.
But I think we're probably talking about steel because I really feel the other side feels better about it. And I can understand what they're saying. It is more expensive. We mentioned the price that we want $5.6 billion very strongly, because numbers are thrown around, 1.6, 2.1, 2.5. This is national security we're talking about. We're not talking about games. We're talking about national security. This should have been done by all of the presidents that preceded me, and they all know it. Some of them have told me that we should have done it. So we're not playing games. We have to do it.
So if this is not true, it's an extraordinarily audacious thing to say, because these are former presidents. They have spokespeople. They have public personas. What they say is of consequence. And if they don't support the wall, if they didn't tell Donald Trump that he should do it or that they wish they had done it, that's a pretty big deal. If indeed former presidents did support Trump's policy, that actually would also be important, right? That could change public opinion. If it were true that Obama and George W. Bush regretted not building a wall and support Trump doing it, that actually could conceivably change public opinion. So this is a big deal. It happens not to be true. All four former living former presidents, I guess is the right way to say it, have said it definitely wasn't them who told Trump that they support his U.S.-Mexico border wall. We heard from Bill Clinton's spokesman, who immediately said this isn't true. Clinton hasn't spoken to Trump since the inauguration. We saw video of Clinton and Trump at George H.W. Bush's funeral. They didn't say a word to each other when Donald Trump arrived. George W. Bush's spokesman said Trump has never, ever, ever talked about the border wall with George W. Bush, so it certainly wasn't him. That leaves two. Barack Obama's spokesman didn't even comment specifically, instead just saying President Obama is on the record very clearly as saying that walls won't solve the problems that we have today. And then lastly, you have Jimmy Carter, who personally put out a statement saying he's not spoken to Trump about the wall and he opposes the wall. So this is a bold-faced lie. And asked for comment, Donald Trump's acting chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, said, quote, I have no idea why Trump said this. He hasn't spoken to Donald Trump about it at all. When I read this, I suspected that somewhere you would start to see people saying, well, it must have been George H.W. Bush who passed away recently, and it was him who supported the wall, but now we can't ask him because he's dead. First of all, yeah, right. Secondly, Trump hadn't spoken to George H.W. Bush about this. We know that. And thirdly, that would still only be one president, and Donald Trump said that presidents, plural, told him that they support building this wall. So the lies are becoming more erratic. The lies are becoming more desperate. And as I mentioned before, audacious is the word that I used. I wonder if it was a world leader, but not a former American president who told Trump to build a wall. Might it have been a leader from, I don't know, another country who likes the idea of Trump building a border wall to inflame tensions and divide people, and Trump got confused and said, could have sworn it was an American president who told me to do that. Maybe just an idea. Don't know if there's anything to that. But the pathology of Donald Trump's lies should be apparent to everybody at this point. He is as disconnected from reality as anyone with a serious case of narcissistic personality disorder is. He will say whatever pops into his head, Pat, if he thinks it might reinforce that strong alpha male negotiator, that persona. And just imagine being 72 years old, you've lived the majority of your life, everything you know, everything you've done, everything you believe in, to the extent that Trump has beliefs, gets you to this point of being president of the United States. And you choose to put your eggs in the basket of building a dumb wall, and you find yourself lying in this obvious and demonstrable manner. There's something sad about it beyond being extraordinarily dangerous.
Yeah, he lies for the sake of lying, even when it doesn't get him anywhere. And he lies disregarding how falsifiable the lie is. Like, you only have to interview 4 or 5 people in this case. It reminded me of when he said that after speaking to my generals, I've decided to institute a transgender military ban. At least in that instance, though, you could, like, you know that it wasn't Jim Mattis or John Kelly necessarily, because you can interview those people, but there are so many generals in the United States that maybe on the off chance one of them or 2 of them said that we have to ban trans military members, that would at least make sense. This lie, I think, is a lot more egregious than that.
Yeah, you can't actually go and talk to every military person who might have said that banning trans service members is a good idea. There's 4 former presidents, and them supporting building this harebrained wall would be a big deal. So obviously that's going to be fact checked. Does it make any difference with his followers? I don't think it does. I think at this point they are so gone, they are so cognitively dissonant that they would rationalize this away any number of different ways that I can imagine, none of which I will even present to you to avoid floating ideas to anybody that might use them. Truly disgusting. I would argue this is the most audacious lie Trump has told so far. If you disagree with me and think that there's been a more desperate, erratic, or audacious lie that he's told, let me know. I'm on Instagram at david.pakman. I hope you're following me there. And the show is on Instagram at David Pakman Show. After the break, part 2 of my interview with Dilbert creator Scott Adams.